I overheard my girlfriend brag, "He's so clueless." At my surprise party, I got up and said, "The real surprise is she's cheating with Steve." Then I showed everyone the photos. She was left frantically trying to explain as Steve snuck out the back door. I'm a 29-year-old guy, and my life up until about 3 weeks ago felt like it was on the perfect track. I have a great job in marketing, a solid group of friends, and a girlfriend, Anna, 26, who I genuinely thought was the one. We'd been together for 3 years, lived together for the last one, and I was even ring shopping. I know, cue the sad violins. The thing is, I'm a planner. I like to have my ducks in a row. Anna always said she loved that about me. She called me her rock, her steady hand. Turns out, she probably just meant predictable and easy to deceive. The discovery didn't happen in a single dramatic moment. It was a slow, sickening creep of suspicion that started about a month ago. Late nights working that didn't quite add up, a sudden, fierce protectiveness over her phone, a new scent on her clothes that wasn't mine or hers. I tried to ignore it, telling myself I was being paranoid. The dam broke 2 weeks before my surprise 30th birthday party. Anna was in the shower, and her iPad, which is linked to her phone, was on the nightstand. It lit up with a message notification, a name I knew all too well, Justin. The message preview was just a string of heart emojis. My heart hammered against my ribs. Against my better judgment, I picked it up. It wasn't locked. What I found was a bottomless pit of betrayal. Months of messages. Explicit, detailed texts planning their hookups, mocking me, my schedule, my predictability. There were photos, there were discussions about the future, not with me, but about how long she could maintain the good thing she had with me while having her fun with him. Justin, my stomach clenched. Justin, 29, was one of my oldest friends. He was supposed to be a groomsman at my wedding, a wedding I was actively planning in my head. The first wave was pure hot rage. I wanted to smash the iPad, to confront her right then and there. But then, something else kicked in. A strange, chilling calm. The planner in me took over. An outburst would give them control. It would devolve into screaming and crying and a messy, unresolved implosion. No, this required a different approach. A more strategic one. For the next 2 weeks, I lived a double life. On the outside, I was the same loving, attentive boyfriend. On the inside, I was an intelligence agent gathering evidence for a trial. I meticulously screenshotted every conversation. I remembered a photo a friend of a friend had sent me months ago of them looking way too cozy outside a bar, and I dug it up. I filed a formal request with my building's management for security footage, citing a concern about unauthorized access to my apartment. And after a few days of bureaucratic process, I had a crisp, time-stamped image of Anna and Justin entering the elevator together on a day I was on a business trip. I learned about my surprise party when I saw a planning email she'd accidentally left open. The irony was so thick I could choke on it. It was the perfect stage, my stage. The night of the party, I was a wreck internally. I projected calm. It was at our apartment, packed with our friends, my family, her family, the whole 9 yards. I watched Justin walk in, give me a bro hug, and hand me an expensive bottle of whiskey. "Happy birthday, man," he said with a huge fake smile. I wanted to punch him. Instead, I smiled back. "Thanks, dude. Means a lot that you're here." About an hour in, I was walking past my bedroom when I heard Anna's voice. The door was slightly ajar. She was talking to her best friend, Helen. This wasn't a discovery. This was a final confirmation. "He's so clueless," Anna said, her voice a smug whisper. "Honestly, Helen, sometimes I feel bad. He just believes everything I say. It's like taking candy from a baby." Helen murmured something I couldn't quite catch. "Oh, don't give me that look," Anna continued. "It's not like I'm gonna leave him. He's stable. He's good for me. And Justin, well, Justin is just for fun. A little excitement on the side." That was it. The last piece of justification I needed. I walked back into the living room, my resolve hardened into steel. Around 10 p.m., Anna gathered everyone, tapping a champagne flute. "Speech, speech," she beamed, launching into a gushing, saccharine speech about how wonderful I was, how she couldn't imagine her life without me. The hypocrisy was breathtaking. She finished with, "Happy birthday, baby, I love you so much." This was it. Showtime. I stood up. The room quieted, expecting a thank you. I looked around at all the faces, my friends, my family, her family. Then my eyes landed on Anna. Thank you everyone for coming, I started, my voice impossibly steady. And thank you, Anna, for this surprise party. It's been a very enlightening few weeks. A flicker of confusion in her eyes. Good. You see, I continued, the biggest surprise isn't this party. The real surprise is that I found out Anna has been cheating on me for months. With Justin. A collective gasp. Every head swiveled between Anna, her face sheet white, and Justin, who looked like he'd been tasered. Now, I know that's a big accusation, I said, holding up a hand. But as Anna knows, I'm a planner. I like to have proof. I pulled out my phone. The new smart TV on the wall, which had been showing a happy slideshow, went black. A moment later, my phone's screen was mirrored on it. I opened my photo gallery to a folder I'd named Party Favors. First, the text messages, clear as day on the 65-inch screen. Then the photo of them kissing outside the bar. Finally, the high-resolution security still of them entering the elevator, his arm around her waist, the date and time glowing in the corner. The room was dead silent. I could hear someone's drink clatter to the floor. Anna was just standing there, mouth agape, her carefully constructed world detonating in front of her. Her parents stared at her in absolute horror. I didn't stick around. I'd made my point. I turned, walked back into my bedroom, and locked the door. I heard shouting, crying, the frantic sounds of a party imploding. Through my window, I saw Justin scurrying out the back door of the building like the rat he was. I sat on the edge of my bed, the adrenaline finally starting to fade, leaving me feeling hollowed out. I had won. But damn, it didn't feel like a victory. Update 1. First off, thanks for all the support. Reading your comments has been a weird source of comfort. The last few days have been a lot. The night of the party, I stayed in my room until the last person left. At some point, Anna's dad knocked on the door. He just said, "I'm so sorry, son." I didn't know what to say, so I just said, "Thanks." When I finally emerged, Anna was gone. She'd left her key on the counter. The next morning, the texts and emails started. A flood of them. She accused me of being a calculating monster, of setting her up. She said the affair was a mistake and that I drove her to it with my predictability. The mental gymnastics are truly Olympic level. I blocked her number and set her email address to auto-delete. Justin left a pathetic, rambling voicemail. "Dude, I'm so sorry. She told me you guys were basically over." I deleted it and blocked him too. The real fun started on Monday. Anna had called our landlord, crying, saying I'd thrown her out illegally. The landlord, a reasonable guy who knows I'm the primary leaseholder and pay 80% of the bills, told her it was a domestic issue and to not contact him again. Then, the entitlement kicked into high gear. She emailed me from a new address with a list of things she needed. It included the OLED TV I paid for, the high-end espresso machine, a gift from my parents, and half of my art collection. The kicker, she demanded I pay for her moving costs and the security deposit on a new apartment because she was homeless due to my cruel and unusual actions. I responded to that email, the only communication I've sent. "All of your personal belongings that you purchased are packed. You have 48 hours to arrange a time to pick them up, with a police escort present. Any items not retrieved will be disposed of. As for your financial demands, I suggest you consult with Justin." Yesterday, Helen, Anna's supposed best friend, texted me. She apologized profusely. She said she'd had suspicions, but Anna swore it was nothing. The scene at the party, she said, was horrifying but necessary. She also told me Anna is spinning a tale that I was controlling and faked the evidence. But the people who matter know me. They know the truth. I feel drained. But also clear. The fog has lifted. Anna is scheduled to pick up her stuff tomorrow. I've arranged for the police escort and 2 of my biggest friends to be here. I have a feeling the entitlement is only going to get worse, but I'm ready. I'm a planner, after all. Update 2. The great stuff Pocalypse has come and gone. And folks, it was even more of a train wreck than I anticipated. Anna showed up an hour late with her mother, Pamela, and Justin. Yes, Justin. The sheer nerve of it was breathtaking. As arranged, 2 police officers and my 2 buddies, Stephen and Jonathan, were present. I had packed all of Anna's things into boxes and had a printed inventory list, along with a folder of receipts for every major item in the apartment. The moment Anna walked in, she sneered. "Is that it? Where's the rest of my stuff?" Pamela immediately started pointing at the TV. That beautiful television is as much hers as it is yours. Actually, Pamela, I said, pulling the receipt from my folder, it's not. Anna's face turned blotchy. You're being petty. We were building a life together. Justin found his voice. Come on, man, don't be like this. It's the least you can do after publicly shaming her. I turned to him. Justin, the fact that you're standing in my apartment is astounding. You have zero say in this. Get out of my home. The officers stepped forward and Justin retreated to the hallway. The argument continued until Anna started crying crocodile tears. She then unwrapped a designer handbag I'd bought her and pulled out an envelope I had placed inside. It was an itemized invoice for her share of the rent and utilities for the last 6 months, the period of the affair. The total was just over $8,000. At the bottom, I had written, "Since we believe everything is shared, here is your outstanding contribution. Please remit payment. Alternatively, you can forward this to Justin. I'm sure he'd be happy to cover the costs of his fun." The silence was beautiful. Anna's face went from red to clammy white. Pamela snatched the paper, her eyes bugging out. You can't be serious, she whispered. Entirely, I said calmly. If you want to take me to court for the TV, I will be more than happy to countersue for this amount. That was the breaking point. Anna shrieked, threw the handbag, and stormed out. Pamela threw the invoice on the ground and followed, slamming the door. The cops left, one of them giving me a small, approving nod. My friends and I disposed of her boxes. It felt clean, but I knew the war wasn't over. Update 3. After the humiliation of moving day, they pivoted to professional attacks. Last week, my boss, Larry, called me into his office. He'd received an anonymous email claiming I was unstable, vindictive, and a liability. It was Anna's narrative, weaponized. Larry, I said calmly, I anticipated this. I slid a portfolio across his desk. It contained everything. The texts, the affidavit from Helen, the security footage documentation, the invoice, and printouts of Anna's abusive emails. Larry read through it all. I am so sorry you're going through this, he said, his face grim. This is an incredible level of maliciousness. I'll pass this to HR. Your record here is spotless, and it's staying that way. I was relieved, but I wasn't done. They tried to destroy my livelihood. My response had to be final. Justin works in sales for a major competitor, a company obsessed with its public image and integrity. He was up for a huge promotion to regional director. I found the names of his supervisor and department head on LinkedIn. I drafted a polite, professional email. Subject: information regarding employee Justin. To whom it may concern, my name is my name. It is not my intention to meddle in your company's affairs, but I have recently been the target of a coordinated harassment campaign, including defamatory statements sent to my employer that involves one of your employees, Justin. This behavior demonstrates a profound lack of judgment and integrity that I felt may be relevant when considering an employee for a senior leadership position. Attached is a portfolio of documents for your review. I attached the same evidence I gave my boss. I didn't make accusations. I simply presented the cold, hard facts of a coordinated attempt at corporate and personal sabotage. I hit send. And then I let it go. Final update. It's been 6 months. The storm has passed, and I can finally breathe. The email to Justin's company worked. He wasn't fired, but he was formally denied the promotion. He was told that the documented evidence of his participation in a malicious harassment campaign made him an unsuitable candidate for a leadership position. His career there is dead in the water. He has to walk into that office every day knowing exactly what he lost and why. Anna's consequences were just as direct. One of her colleagues who was at the party showed their HR department the vitriolic, slanderous posts Anna made about me on her social media. They deemed it unprofessional conduct, reflecting poorly on the company, and she was let go. Their relationship, built on lies, imploded spectacularly. I heard they had a massive public fight, blaming each other for their ruined lives before breaking up. Anna is now living back home with her parents. Her father called me a few months ago. He apologized profusely and offered to pay for a moving company to help me leave the apartment. I thanked him, but politely declined. His apology was enough. As for me, the last 6 months have been a blur of lawyers, agents, and packing tape. I finally closed on the sale of the old apartment last month. The market was slow, but it's done. I I've just moved into a nice rental house in a different part of the city. It's a fresh start. Buying a place of my own will come later, when I'm ready. Some days are still hard. Betrayal leaves deep scars, but I'm in therapy, working through it. I'm focusing on my work and my friends. The other night, I was sitting on the floor of my new living room, eating pizza out of the box, and I just felt quiet. Not happy, not sad, just the calm, quiet feeling of a battle being over. The board is clear, and for the first time in a long, long time, I'm playing my own game again.